7 days ago, we were in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Now we make our way back home to where Formula 1 began. Welcome to the FIA Formula 3 Championship here at Silverstone. It's the first practice session. There's a few technical gremlins, so we're going to pass over to the world feed until we've got them sorted. The session is underway. It's a wet session out there, so let's cross over and see what's going to happen.
Which has effectively a little bit less power than grip in the way that a Formula 3 car does. So that's the key. Eagle-eyed amongst you would have spotted the thin blue lines back along the inside of the curves. That's an addition for this year, something that's been gracing racetracks the world over since I first first seeing it sort of widely applied at Barcelona in sort of through the exit of turn 9. That's now being thrown on all of the apex curve, all the exit curves and white lines to help marshals and race control discern the track limits.
Maggots and Beckett's, one of the most high-speed challenging cars of the circuit, now makes his way down to Stoke Corner. He's having a superb season. Gabriele Mini, one of the championship contenders, sitting in second. Many drivers sat in pit lane so far, but Tim Tramnitz is our leading driver in this session. Noel Leon in second place, Charlie Burns in third. Let's watch Gabriele Mini cross the line as he comes around the final corner now and gets himself onto the Hamilton straight, and Gabriele Mini goes P2. Did a great job last weekend. Alex Dilley came off the back of a non-score at Barcelona, quickly reset, and then went on to get that podium finish. So it was a very impressive, quick reset, given we are in the triple header. Gabriele Mini could have very easily gone off course there, but did very well to come off the back of what was his most disappointing weekend, to then get on to a very high score.
Yeah, he managed to recover it, didn't he? Dual point score, 6th and 2nd across the 2 races. The man we're watching, though, had a very difficult weekend. Like the one to which you alluded, didn't he, Chris? Mary Boyer with a difficult time back at Red Bull Ring, of course, after taking that win back in Barcelona and at home. So he'll be looking to try to take a strong performance out of this weekend, if he can at all. Track drying relatively slowly here. I'm surprised, actually, by how quickly, by the speed at which the track is coming back into dry condition, although we are operating at the height of British summer with a princely air temperature of 12 degrees. So, yeah, they're going to have to be out there on the wets for a little while. First sector for Boyer, we've got some reasonably sensible times. Arvid Lindblad talking the times, as you can see on the left-hand side in the Prema. But they're going to have to pound around for a fair few laps here on wet. And I think these laps are worth doing, because it could so easily be wet later in the weekend. We've got a mixed forecast throughout the whole weekend here, so they'll be wanting to get a bit of a feel for the wet time.
Are you surprised more aren't out there? I mean, we have half the field yet to set a time. It's due, I mean, every website you look at is different, but I'm going to go with the last one I saw. Wet tomorrow, possibly all day. We could get lucky Sunday, is the last forecast I saw, but it could be, who knows, it could be wet all the way throughout the weekend. It's Silverstone, we just don't know. You've raced here several times, you don't know what you're going to get. Are you surprised we're not seeing more? It looks like more drivers are starting to maybe put some sectors together, but it is worth it, isn't it? Just getting out there and getting a feel for the track.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Chris. It could well be wet all weekend long. They've got a couple of sets of wets, these drivers, only 2. Yeah. So, and the wet tire goes away relatively quickly in a formula like this. It has a peak of pace that you take out of it early on in the sessions, and then it really starts to fall away. So you could easily see front-running drivers now limit their running to protect the wets that they have available to them for the rest of the weekend.
We talked a bit about the challenges of the circuit just in general. How does that change around here in the wet conditions? It's a high-speed circuit, as we see, Santiago Ramos, who could do with a boost in confidence. I think it's fair to say he's not really had things going his way since the real highs, and near miss, I think we can say, of Imola, where he put the car on pole position. He could just do with a real turn of fortune going his way. You mentioned about the wets going away, drivers just being patient so far. Alex, what's the key to going quick round here in the wet, do you think? What are the challenges of this circuit in a high-speed circuit?
You've got to get out there and find the grip, and it changes a lot, moves around a lot. You've also got to be aware of all of the different layouts of Silverstone. Of course, you've got the Grand Prix circuit we're running now, and there's the international circuit and even the national. As those circuits cross over and the various layouts that this circuit is running join together, you get rubber in unexpected places. The main spot for that is the middle of Maggots and Beckett's, where it's always really slippery, where the national circuit joins on to the Grand Prix, and cars operating on the national circuit then turn right and head off directly down the Wellington Straight. So you've got to be aware of where the grip is, and as it gets drier, you progress slowly more and more towards that drying line. Wharton across the line with a decent lap time so far, and he's picked his head up off the headrest now. I think he was finding out about the rigours of a Formula 3 program. That's only going to obviously increase into dry conditions, but Luke Browning still playing it cool out there on the pit wall, waiting to see the times go in, and he's waiting for a crossover moment where he might be able to stick the slick on, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think that's it seems to be that's the case. The slicks by the cars. Good to see Wharton out there turning the laps, having showing great pace in Formula E European Championship Alpine this season. Had great campaigns in the likes of Italian F4, Euro 4 last season as well. He's an incredibly talented driver, backed now by the BRDC as well, as we see the car stand in pit lane, Alex.
Yeah, they've been fiddling around in the pedal box of that Prema for a little while now for Dino Bjanovic. I don't think he'd want to be out there anyway. But an interesting one, there's communication going on with the team, and basically they're down there either fiddling with the brake system, they're either bleeding the brakes, although you tend to have mechanics sat down by the brake calipers if you were doing that, or doing something down there in the pedal box. So I don't know whether he's not quite comfortable in the car. It'll be interesting to see that one progress.
Nicola Solov coming through the Maggots and Beckett section. He's been really finding his form recently, hasn't he? Alex, been very impressive. 2 wins for him now this season. Nicola Solov, the driver backed by Fernando, or managed by Fernando Alonso, on the top step of the podium again last time out in the sprint race. Just seems to be finding some form, finding the pace we all knew he had as a Spanish F4 champion, the young Bulgarian, very young, still 17 years old, backed by the Alpine Academy, comes around the final corner, onto the Hamilton Straight, and Nicola Solov to the top of the times in free practice.
Yeah, a couple of times a sprint race winner, but I think he's backed that up with some solid finishes as well in the feature race. You know, 6th back in Barcelona, 6th again at Red Bull Ring. So you're absolutely right, Chris. He's found a nice vein of form through this stage of the year. It's been a good run of point scoring finishes as well for Tim Tramlin. It's only dropping out a couple of times over the last few races, but after taking that podium back in Monaco, he's having a nice run of it as well. Tramlin, who sits 8th in the championship now, Red Bull Junior, on 47 points.
Just 29 points overall, Alex, between our top 7 in the championship. Very, very close. It is really, really close. Now, this is the first time Callum Voisin, Joseph Loke are going to be on a track they know this season. Their home race, and we caught up with Callum Voisin before the weekend.
It is very challenging, especially, you know, growing up on British circuits and stuff. You don't do a whole lot amount of time on European circuits. So, likes of Imola, even Barcelona, you don't do that much compared to, you know, the rest of the grid probably do a lot more than you. But yeah, you know, I think it's natural. I think usually you make it a bit more of a 2-year program if you can. So I don't know what I'm doing yet next year, but that'll certainly be the goal for sure.
Callum Boysen there, yet to score points, Alex, but this such a great opportunity for him to get off the mark, isn't it? He showed good pace in qualifying. Joseph Loeb has been in the points, but he has gradually been moving forward, and he had a really good climb up the order at Red Bull Ring last time out, climbing up to 14th place. Charged through the field. Callum Boysen is showing potential of scoring points. This weekend he'll want to capitalise on that pace now. Home race, you've experienced that within your time doing this championship. It is the special one, isn't it? It's the one you've got your eye on in the calendar.
Yeah, it is. It's always nice to have family and friends around, but equally, it just underlines for Boysen there when listening to him how young these drivers are. You think of even the staple circuits, you know, your Barcelonas and the stuff that drivers of a certain level in motorsport kind of assume that everybody's you know done some laps of these racetracks outside of Monza, the European staples. Actually, these drivers are so young; they're moving through from the regional series that they're even on a voyage of discovery of the base layer of these racetracks, and that's a great thing to watch. You know, these 30 young drivers discover motorsport. Boysen will be feeling a lot more at home this weekend in terms of feeling the racetrack out, and that can lead, especially to a driver at this stage of their career, to a huge jump in form throughout the weekend where you know where to point it.
He's a GB3 champion, and this for him could be a massive season for him if he can go and put some results together. As he says, is he looking at a 2-year plan possibly? He's already thinking about his future career, despite the fact he's halfway through a season. That is what these young drivers are experiencing, aren't they? They're in the middle of the Formula 3 season, but as they slowly progress through the year, they're always assessing their own performances, Alex. That's what we're watching all the time. It's the pressure of racing within a Formula 1 paddock, knowing they are racing all the time. And for Callum Boysen, the GB3 champion, he wants to get out there and score points all the time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you're moving as well. I mean, once we leave Silverstone and head off to Hungary, you've got 3 rounds to go. We're moving into the stage of the year where these drivers are pushing to be noticed and, of course, moved through by the academies, but also by the teams. And they're looking at what they might do next year. Those deals get done very early. The seats get filled very early. There are years where, as the checkered flag falls on the last race of the season, everybody has already picked their seat for the next season of Formula 3 racing, and that's the nature of how these seats are, how tough it is to find yourself in one of these seats. Also, you know, from a sort of financial perspective as well for the drivers, the better you do if you are on a 2-year plan, suddenly you find the seats get a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And you don't have to find quite so much funding. Everything starts to get easier when you're performing. So teams, of course, need to keep their performance level up. Will make sure that they're hiring the best drivers or taking the best drivers, and so are prepared to do you a deal. And it can be a case of, yeah, I've got the backing to continue going with, to continue moving towards Formula 1 with the sponsors that I've got, but I can only make the numbers add up if the team cut me a bit of slack. And to get them to do that, I've got to perform through this stage of the season right now.
Sami Megatuna, who we're watching, in the same situation. For him, it's let's get a good season together, then possibly I'm back in the car again next season. He's had to put in some really good performances, Sami Megatuna, this season so far, 12th in the championship, and for him, I imagine it's just all about returning, possibly doing this all over again next season. The silly season within the feeder series, just as exciting as it is at the very top level of motorsport.
Well, I thank the World Feed. The technical problems have been sorted. And I'm delighted to welcome you up to the JB Motorsports commentary box for the British Grand Prix weekend here at Silverstone. Alongside me in the commentary box is Omi and Jack. And Omi, getting all set. We've been watching the session. It's been wet, damp track as always, but we're ready to go here at Silverstone. How are you?
Hello, Josh. Hello, everyone. Yes, indeed. Looking forward to this. Should be a very, very exciting Formula 3 weekend coming up. Should be an exciting British Grand Prix weekend coming up as well. But yes, great to see cars that are out there on the circuit. And we've got a wet track. It could be a very wet weekend here at Silverstone.
Good indeed. And Jack, that's what we like, isn't it? British Grand Prix in wet weather always delivers the classic. And right now, Formula 3 just been getting used to it. 2-minute lap times for them. It's quite quick in the wet.
Yeah, indeed. Very quick in the wet. It's honestly going to be a great weekend. Hopefully the weather remains wet, but we like a wet race. Wet races are chaos, and I just love a good old-fashioned wet race. I mean, we might remember the Germany 2019 race. Absolute classic of a race. That is wet weather. As we see Sami Megatunic go a little bit wide. That will be a lap time deleted. Yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
Just a reminder to everyone watching, if you're watching on Twitch, nothing's changed, we're still on there. However, if you're watching on YouTube, we have got some changes. Dorna bot got us last weekend at the German Grand Prix. That's now been, being sorted. But we won't get our main channel back until Sunday for the British Grand Prix. So action from Formula 3 and Formula 2 this weekend will be on JB Motorsports 2. That includes the feature race on Sunday. Action for Formula 1 on Friday and Saturday live here on JB Motorsports 2. The race on Sunday will be simulcast on JB Motorsports and JB Motorsports 2 as well. IndyCar and NASCAR, the coverage there for the race will be on JB Motorsports as well. There are some changes coming forward as well. That'll be announced in due course here on the JB Motorsports platform as well to stop MotoGP affecting our systems. But there's the Silverstone wing with all the solar panels on top of it as well. A sustainable building. Not getting much sun out there today, but Omi, they've gone out there on slick wet weather slick tyres now actually as well. Still too much of a damp track because you can't run on the wet tyres for so long because they just don't work.
Yep, indeed. So you do have to be very careful out there on the circuit, especially in your first few runs in practice with these slick tyres on a slightly damp track as well. But of course, if you guys weren't listening to the World Feed earlier on, we do have, of course, a new driver for this weekend. You would have heard me talk about earlier this season. We have James Wharton, who's joining in the high-tech. He's essentially being banned from this round for participating in GP3 without telling the FIA about it. So he will not be competing in this round. So James Wharton is in there to replace him.
Yeah, so the GB3 Championship, of course, that happened at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago. You can't do that in the same season without the FIA being notified. Just a quick reminder also, many people asking what's happening with MotoGP this weekend. Practice sessions and qualifyings will not be live. They'll be uploaded and premiered on JB Motorsports YouTube channel. However, the sprint race and the Grand Prix, they won't be live on JB Motorsports or JB Motorsports 2. If you want to watch MotoGP live this weekend, the sprint and the Grand Prix is live only on Twitch. So on the JB Motorsports Twitch channel. That's the only place you can watch MotoGP live this weekend. MotoGP after this weekend, of course, going into the summer break, so that when we come back for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, we'll have more options. So that's the way we're going at the moment in order to get things sorted. So 2 weeks of hell, basically, from Dorna and their bot still being botty to come into it. But yeah, the German Grand Prix coverage, by the way, will be uploaded later on this morning. But yeah, not exactly the best commentary, because after we get the, I'm giving it my all, and as soon as the block comes through from YouTube, I just go, alright, faders, boring race, not really exciting. So yeah, wasn't the best. But fully excited here for the British Grand Prix. Chris McCarthy is on F3 and F2 duties. Ben Edwards is on F1 TV duties, and Alex Jakes is on Channel 4 this weekend as well. Does that mean we need another monitor up here in the commentary box? Yes. Have we already sorted that? Yes. To get into it as well. As we're on board with Leonardo Forlaroli, who's coming down towards Copse Corner. You don't need any track maps here at Silverstone. We all know it so well. Turn 1 down as well at Abbey, then through Farm Curve, into Village, the Loop, Aintree, Wellington Straight, Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcote, Copse, into Maggots, Beckett's, then through Chapel, Hanger Straight, Stowe, Vale, Club, all coming through as well as it culminates at the end of the lap. 18 turns on this circuit as well here at Silverstone now. You can see the MotoGP alternative there if you're watching along with us as well, wherever you are in the world. Bogdanovic getting ready to go out on slick tyres too. It's always a worry here at Silverstone when it starts raining because it's flat here, isn't it, Omi? So there's just nowhere for the water to go. It sort of sits across the top. That's why most of the time when it rains here, we end up in delay.
Yeah, last year's F3 sprint race had rain midway through. It meant that we had to have a safety car so everyone could pit and change tyres, because it's not what we would usually have in Formula 3, a pit stop. So yeah, that was a pretty chaotic race last season here at Silverstone in the sprint race. Should be something similar this weekend, possibly with some rain coming in as well. So really, really excited to see how this one's going to go. James Wharton is going to go up, though, to 4th position right now as Leo Fornaroli comes into the pit lane.
Not bad at all there from James with a 2 minutes .607. Megan, by the way, is leading the commentary on MotoGP this weekend. I'll be back for the sprint race, and then we're both back together for the Grand Prix on Sunday in the main commentary box as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I've got Megan's laptop here. That's where all the stream's going to come from. So after this session, I've got to run up and set it all up. Hopefully it won't take too long. As you see, James Wharton flying it all through. All the cars back into the pit lane now. We'll take this opportunity to hand back to the world and get some more editing done for getting Mega's laptop set up as well.
See James Wharton, he is going to put some laps on the board. So he kind of has to try and get some laps round. This is his only practice session, but he hasn't really had many chances to do so. I guess while we don't have much on-track action, Alex, a good chance to congratulate our Formula 3 alumni driver who finished on the podium here a couple of years ago, Ollie Behrman, who yesterday signed his Formula 1 contract for 2025 for the Haas F1 team. Finished 3rd in this championship 2 years ago, finished on a home podium here at Silverstone in that superb last lap battle with Zach O'Sullivan as well, the 2 British drivers on the podium together. And that is another Formula 3 driver in Formula 1. We've got the likes of Yuki Tsunoda go up, Oscar Piastri, Logan Sargent, Liam Lawson had his brief spell in Formula 1. Good chance to return there as well. But a great news for the championship, great news for Ollie Behrman.
Yeah, congratulations to Ollie Behrman. Brilliant stuff. I think that he's been. It was not a brilliantly kept secret, was it? That he was on his way. He was on his way to Haas, but well deserved. It's not quite been the season in Formula 2 that he might have wanted, but the previous season in Formula 2 was outstanding. Isaac Hadjar, also Franco Colapinto will find himself behind the wheel of Formula 1 cars this weekend in FP1. So drivers moving on up, and that's really good to see. What's bad to see is it is raining, and it's raining quite hard around the circuit here. That's why they're all back out there on their wet tyres. Well, you know, bad in terms of a potential walk back through the paddock for me, but actually probably good for the drivers, because they are actually going to get some proper rain practice in now that they may well need later on, rather than the crossover conditions, which would just damage the tyre and give them no data.
Mattias Zagazzetta, former British F4 driver, so has experience on a different layout of this circuit. raced here before, of course, was with us. Been with us throughout the season, Matthias Zagazzetta, but he has raced here before, albeit on a condensed layout. Comes into towards the final section of corners into Vale and Club now. Has done a very good season so far. Has been very consistent. Hasn't quite hit the points yet, but has been consistent. Always in the top 20, knocking on the door in terms of qualifying of a top 12. Matthias Zagazzetta, could this be the weekend for him? Now he's on slightly more familiar turf, having done plenty of racing over here in the UK. But there you can see examples of what Alex was talking about. It is tipping it down, isn't it, in the pit lane, and the wet tyres are on. Anyone who had slick tyres have taken them off, including Dino Beganovic, and he's now coming out of pit lane.
Yeah, tipping it down. One of the 746 potential increments of rain we have at Silverstone. I agree with your assessment there, your analysis. It is in the tipping it down stage. Drivers out there onto the road. I agree with you about Zagazzetta. Needs to try and make it. He got incredibly close back in Austria of qualifying within the reverse grid. And for those drivers like Voisin, like Zagazzetta, like Shields, Dufek, that is the aim every single weekend, because we've seen magic happen for the drivers that jump into those top 12 positions. And so often at this level, when you delve into the race pace of the drivers you would perceive to be mid-grid, you look at it and it's not actually that far away from race-winning, race-leading pace. It's just they don't start in the right position because the qualifying lap's not quite there. Go and pop those drivers in the top 3, and it's amazing how often they finish there. So if they can get themselves on the reverse grid, it puts them up the field, they get up the field, then they've got every chance of getting a good result in.
Especially this weekend. I mean, the rain just throws everything up in the air, doesn't it, really? We could see anything happen this weekend now. The rain really throws a spanner in the works here. It could be a case of being the last one to cross the line in the qualifying session this weekend. Last season here, we saw pit stops, which was a new one for us. Of course, it's not something we see very often in Formula 3. That caught many teams out. Dino Beganovic was one of the cars who came in. He had to start from the very back of the field, gained over 30 places during both races, having not set a lap in qualifying. So he'll be hoping for better fortunes in qualifying this time. Was out of the points for the first time in a long time last time out. He got a real good run in terms of getting some points scores together, Dino Beganovic. See what he can do here in practice. Let's jump on board with him, Alex.
Following through the mid-corner of Abbey, then you've got to get back across the road for the loop. Going to miss the apex almost certainly of that first part of this chicane that characterises the new early phase of this lap, what I still consider the arena section of Silverstone. And then will it be a lift? No, it will not. Out onto the Wellington Straight, even in wet conditions for Dino Beganovic, and down towards Brooklands, which is a long, ever-tightening left-hander. Again, we're going to be wide of the apex, I'd have thought, in these conditions, a little bit wide of the curb. Luffield, you wait for ages on that left front tyre, and you've got to resist the temptation to jump on the throttle in the mid-corner, because it'll only delay your eventual exit. Woodcote, easy flat in everything that'll be racing here this weekend. And then turn 9, the famous Cops. Of course, you head to the apex in the dry, but it's always around the outside in the wet. You can feel the difference in the tarmac texture under your fingertips when you drive a single-seater around the outside of Cops. Maggots becomes a corner in wet conditions, and this is the slippery section. The way into Beckett, you've got to be incredibly patient. Lovely rotation on the way in for Dino Beganovic. Too much rotation on the way out as he heads towards the DRS zone, which is down the Hangar Straight. Over on the inside as on his way into Stowe, braking offline and then cruising across the road, and it's round the outside again of the constant radius right-hander. The rear tyre crying enough a little bit at this stage of the lap. tricky and clumsy through the veil. You've got to try and cut it back. Lovely control of the little bit of a rear lock-up. Beganovic commits to clumping the inside curve and taking the shortest distance. Then there's a river often that runs across the road through the outside of Club. You've got to get out of the throttle and back in. Beganovic a little bit slower than what's been achieved before, but a good lap considering the conditions.
Thank you, Alex. And it does look like it is going to be an interesting weekend as well. Just love the fact that the F1 commentary box, F1 TV, looks absolutely fantastically massive right now as well. So that's nice compared to our commentary box. Follow going a little bit wide off the track there. Still, Max Esterson is fastest. I tell you what though, boys, the rain looks like it's getting heavier out there as well. So you get a lot more fog in the air, and it's not burning off as much as we thought it would do.
Yeah, so all changing around them here at Silverstone very quickly with the weather, so could lead to an interesting qualifying session later on if the rain does continue, because you'll need to get the laps in early if the rain does increase later on in the session. But it should be a wide open weekend of Formula 3, but driving talent will definitely be on show all throughout with these tricky conditions that these drivers will have to navigate their way through.
Yep, so just a reminder, everyone who keeps asking me, no MotoGP live this weekend on the YouTube channels of practice and qualifying, all the sprint and the race. Live coverage will only be on Twitch, and that will be of the races, the sprint race and the Grand Prix. Everything else will be recorded and uploaded as Follow Rating goes wide at Stowe as well. Do I hate the fact that we're missing a weekend? Yes. Can we afford it? No. That is a simple answer. One thing I will say is that if we get our live streams back on JB Motorsports on Sunday, JB Motorsports 2 might have the German Grand Prix feature race. That's all I can think about. Because then there's no reason not to use JB Motorsports 2, if you see what I mean. So we'll see if that will be the case for the Grand Prix on Sunday. But we need to make sure that we get our JB Motorsports back. So yeah, otherwise we're pretty much in a bit of doo-doo. Forlaroli looking quite quick as well. Holding that inside line. Sliding out the rear. Rain's getting heavier here. Now 2-minute 1:53 is Esteson's time. See what Forlaroli can do. He's had a mistake though at the circuit, but he's improved up to 25th, 2:03.704. Still not the best of the conditions out there. Klein Shields up to second position as well. Nicholas Solov in third. Wharton now fourth still. And this is Noel Leon at the exit of Luffield, getting over the curb. You can see the new blue line. That's the track limit definition for the AI. And yeah, they've adjusted that curb at the exit of Luffield to allow a little bit more of a runoff. And this was him also touching it at Stowe as well. I mean, so yeah, not the best that were happening through there as well. It's too wet out there as well at the moment. That's the thing. It can get wetter at Silverstone at a drop of a hat.
It can indeed. No time set for Luke Browning. He is not in his car right now. We have 5 minutes to go on the clock. Santiago Ramos is currently making his way through. Of course, was contending for the win at the start of the triple header in Spain until he made contact with his teammate Sami Megatunif. That was in the sprint race to begin this triple header. He is currently in 20th position in the session right now, improving in the first, slightly down in the second sector as the rain, as you mentioned, does start to increase and start moving around a little bit. So it'll get worse, it'll get better all throughout. That will be the story of the day. It does seem like at the moment. Formula 2, of course, up soon as well for their practice session.
Yeah, they're on their way at the top of the hour, so it's going to be a confusing session, just to let everyone know, because as soon as we're done here, because we've got to get it uploaded, as soon as the last car crosses the line, we'll run through the results, go off air. Same for F2 as well, because we've got to get these constantly uploaded today and premiering on JB Motorsports 1. So it's going to everyone. So yeah, it's just how it works. Let's have a look at Leonardo Forlaroli though. DRS Open. This is down in towards Brooklands. Throws the car in. Rear steps out once. Nice catch actually on that snap. We follow the cars coming out. I think that's out the pit. I can't see where that. Yeah, it's coming out the pit lane. Down towards turn 1. Unusual pit lane exit here feeds into the apex of turn 2. I'm just looking forward to a British Grand Prix. Last year's was tainted. Oh yeah, we've got to get the Silverstone flag up. We'll get that sorted for practice one later for Formula 1.
Yeah.
Just remember that, there's the nice Silverstone flag underneath here. We'll get that all set up. Megan's got the green screen dibs this weekend. If you think, oh, why hasn't he been using the green screen this year? We have been using the green screen. It's just that nobody has noticed it that much, because every time we're in Combox B, it's a green screen studio with the JBMotorsports background. So we have been using it. I think that green screen... Also, the green screen gets used more than you think, because it's also on the Grid Network shows. My virtual backgrounds I enjoy to have.
It is.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I should really start thinking about... I'm at Donington again, so I might take a photo for a green screen. Like a standing one, so we can use that at events as well. Because the original... Yeah, well, the plan is that this background becomes a green screen anyway. The one here in the commentary box. So, we just put the green screen on there, so we always have it up. But we need a better camera for that, and better lighting, so it's not just yet. 1 minute 40 to go. Jack, in these conditions, do you reckon that F2 are going to have much running?
I am not 100% sure whether we'll have much running. I think they'll probably run, because the conditions to me seem, while the visibility isn't great, it's not like we're racing.
Yeah.
It is a level. It is just qualifying, so I think conditions will be just about okay. I will say that conditions are certainly treacherous, to say the least. And I don't think anyone's going to be improving in this practice session. I think Esterson's going to be fastest. Shields second, and Solov third.
I agree with you. Oh, big snap from Gabriel Mini coming through Abbey. Down through Farm, into turn 3 at Village. Holds that inside line, just gently puts the power back down. You've got to be so careful in these conditions as well. F3 cars, I think we're going to see the more action from them. They've got less power, ergo less risk in these conditions. The harder the conditions, the better it is for Formula 3, because there's less risk. Where as soon as you get to F2, the torque goes up, the speed goes up. In Formula 1, it will be slipping and sliding everywhere. So you sometimes wonder, well, why can the F3 and F2 cars handle it better than F1 cars? Because the F1 cars are so much faster that they effectively just spin up their rear wheels when trying to put down some power. They're not designed for boating conditions. But I'd say right now, as I agree with what you say, Jack, it's visibility issues, not grip issues out there. Yellow flag's out.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I think it was just a
What's
slow car.
happened ahead of
Slow car
Yeah.
on entry, I think, coming into Cop's corner. Yeah, go on, Jack.
Yeah, I think it is just to do with visibility, as the checkered flag comes out. That's the concern here. That's why I think that they'll be fine to do the qualifying session, but not the actual race. Because racing, because with qualifying, you've got like only one car going around. With racing, you got tons of cars spraying up water, killing the visibility. Yeah, that's the issue here, is visibility. That's why Belgium happened, because it's not that the track was too wet, it was just the visibility. But yeah, I think that we're in for an interesting day, and we'll see if the weather improves. And goodness me, it looks horrible.
It does. I was expect we come to Silverstone, we expect bright blue sunshine, British summer, height of it, and we will wake up this morning and look at the circuit and go, oh, it's raining. Yeah, that's typical British summer. But a wet British... We're overdue, I think, a wet British Grand Prix. We haven't had one in a couple of years now, and I think it would spice up the championship a lot. So I'd be quite up for that. But then again, I'm in two minds. A dry race with Max and Lando fighting it hard, or a wet race where it's anybody's game. It's quite hard to pick for that one, to be fair, after what we saw in Austria. Yeah. Eston is top, and he's asleep in the car. There's Megatuniff. Whoa! Through the gravel as well.
holding on to it was Sammy Megatunif there.
Love a good drift.
Lovely
It's
stuff.
wonderful as well. Yeah, they've changed the exit curb at Brooklands as well, so there's a little bit
Yeah, I
more
noticed
runoff. Makes sense then, because the cars there just do fire off at a weird angle, so allow them some grace. And visibility down the Hanger Straight is practically non-existent. A lot of spray and mist hanging in the air at 9:27 in the morning. The sun trying to burst through, but not working, and a lot of standing water coming through there. The problem is MotoGP ran here in 2018 on a resurfaced track, and because there was no drainage and the surface was horrible, everyone just started sliding off, and it all happened down at Stowe. That's where you get the worst of the weather, down here at Stowe Corner, and it is getting horrible down there as well. I can no longer see the cars coming down the Hanger Straight until they come into the braking zone for Stowe. And Stowe isn't usually a very heavy braking zone either, so that's quite late into proceedings. Yeah, not the best. Get the brollies out. Then again, Rishi Sunak's going to have to do his speech in an hour's time in the rain once more. So, yeah, that's quite ironic. I would love it if Keir Starmer had an umbrella when he made his speech.
Oh god, I stayed up all night watching those results, man.
I was up until 2 a.m., woke up at 4 a.m, and I've been up and down all night. I was very shocked with how bad the Conservatives did, but so happy about the Labour Party. So happy there.
No, I was pretty surprised. I was surprised at the results.
Yeah,
The main reason of it just being how I did not expect. I expected Conservatives to lose quite badly, but not this badly.
No, I didn't.
Like this is, like,
Yeah.
this is one of the biggest shocks, and it was also nice to see the Green Party get some seats. Which
That was
quite nice.
good, yeah. I'll tell you one thing though. When they first started coming in, it was like 22-0 to Labour. I said, I feel quite bad for the Conservatives actually. It's like we're Premier League, and they're the primary school kids. So it's like just let them score one. it was quite bad. I think they're in it. What was the final count? It's like
No
400,
mercy.
Yeah, no mercy. Like 400 and something.
I don't know if it's 400 and something. 411 seats to Labour.
I'm just happy that in our constituency we've got Labour back in as well, because my old boss was the Conservative MP in this area, because I worked with her before she became a Conservative Party member at Estuary TV, and her leaving and everything that happened there screwed up my university course slightly. So to see her then being as the MP, I was furious. And now that she's lost quite badly to the MP I voted for and really like, it's quite nice. So yeah, a bit of justice there. Here's the results then. Max Esser fastest from Clan Shields, then it's Solov, Wharton from Boyer, Mansell, Vozin, Bedrin, Leon and Medakunev. Then it's Boganovic, Verts, Montoya, Van Hopen, Lawrence Van Hopen coming back in as well, Lindblad, Loke, Wisnicki, Traminitz, Mini, Ramos, Goethe, Dufek, Fulleroli, Flursh, Zagazita, Dune, Interproover Casper Sutra, Smith and Luke Browning down in last place, not doing a lap time in this practice session due to tech issues. So Browning lost crucial track time ahead of qualifying as well. Final thoughts then, Jack and Omi. Starting with you, Jack. What did you make of that session?
Wet. There's not much else to add. I think we're in for a very interesting qualifying session.
Omi?
Yep, interesting practice. Could be a wet qualifying. Could be very interesting later on. Make sure you understand. But we've also got FG practice coming up.
That's at 10 o'clock, so join us in half an hour for all the action as well. Here from Silverstone, the rain's increasing. Thanks for your company. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.